This morning we have two guests, and they've been buddies for 11 years. Who are they? You'll meet them coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Marina Inn at Grand Dunes, home of the 8th annual Winter Gala for the Conway Medical Center Foundation. We're focused on a vital aspect of the Conway Medical Center, the Health Reach Van. And we're visiting with the Health Reach Van coordinators, Janie Smith and Liz Bright. Excuse me, it's tough having two folks here on the spot. It's a big deal, and of course it's early on a Wednesday morning. Thank you all so much for coming in. How exciting.
Thanks for having us.
The Health Reach Van, it's a big deal.
It's a very big deal.
11 years now. It's 11
Right.
years. It's 11 years this month, right?
11 years this month, right.
How exciting. Wow. For both of you all spending 11 years together on the same van. That's a pretty...
Just the two of us.
You guys are either great friends or great enemies. Yeah, let's hope it's the former. Yeah, you won't share that early on a Wednesday morning.
Don't give up our secrets. That's all right.
Pretty exciting. And what about this Grand Dunes Marina Inn? Have you all been in here before?
This is our first trip. It's pretty
Place is
spectacular.
amazing. Yeah. Did they do a valet parking on the van?
I was going to let them, but they looked a little scared,
Yeah, they
so
looked
I
kind of-
thought that might not be a good idea.
That would have been cool.
That
That's
would have
right.
been really
That's
good.
right. That's
Janie
right.
kind of told me I couldn't do it.
Yeah. You thought of it. So you actually drive the van.
Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
so, well, Janie does too.
We both do.
Back and forth.
You don't have to have a special CDL license or anything to drive it. Just a little, instruction and training.
But it
Driver-
is a pretty good sized van.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
bigger than a normal van. Yeah.
Right.
I understand from Jessica early in the week it was, Phil Clayton's going to be with us later this week.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had mentioned that it was a donation, I believe, of AVX.
Right.
That AVX really stepped up to the plate and said, this is a great way. You all approach them, or somebody approached them about this tremendous need, which is, what exactly is the significance of the van? What prompted it what prompted AVX to make the donation?
Well, I think there was just such a need in the community for a van that could provide screening out there for people that perhaps didn't have transportation. Some people are a little intimidated about going in a physician office. A lot of people just really don't have the funding to go to certain medical facilities, so therefore the van kind of came out of a need in the community.
And when you all pull up at a location, do you have to go out to the folks even there, or do they come up to you? Do they know why you're there?
Mm-hmm. They come to us.
They
We
do.
send out posters to the stop that we're going to go to, and
Right.
if they've already been on the van previously, then we'll call them the night before
Mm-hmm.
and let them know that we'll be there the next morning, so don't eat past 10 o'clock, and
Wow.
come on out and see us.
And what all is the van capable of providing? I mean, when you mentioned screenings and talking about not eating past 10 o'clock, I mean, it must be pretty extensive.
Yeah.
We do a total cholesterol panel where we break the cholesterol down into good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, triglycerides. We also do a blood sugar with that, and we do blood pressure. And then once our machines take 5 minutes to read out the information, and once we have that, we go over it with each individual patient.
Give them a copy of the results.
So
Great. And how much does this cost the folks?
it's free.
It's free. You're
It
kidding.
is
Wow.
free in healthcare. Can you believe it?
My Lord, that is tremendous. This is part of the reason why the Winter Gala here on January 26th and the big Kingston Golf Classic are so important to raise those funds. Of course, the hospital and the medical center gives, I'm sure, of their own, giving support and supporting the staff to be able to raise the funds to provide support for the Health Reach program. But
It's really important. Our main goal, too, is to help keep people out of the emergency room. So if we can address the issues that they have beforehand until they wait till it gets to the point where they have to call an ambulance
Right.
or somebody's got to take them, I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
If they don't have
yeah.
insurance, it's got to come from somewhere. So if we can at least catch them before they get to that point and kind of refer them out to Friendship Clinic or things like that where
Right.
they can get assistance, then that's helped a lot.
so many of the folks, the same folks who wouldn't come to the hospital in the first place, probably don't think they need you. I mean, how do you actually, for first timers, I know you've mentioned you'll call some of the folks that have been on the van the first time. They may see a poster there. They think, a van coming to me, I don't want to get in that. Well, what are they going to do to me in there? But I mean, how do you get them over that hump? Do y'all actually go
Well,
inside?
when we first started, we used to yell out the window, remember?
Yeah,
We
you
yell
wanna
out the
get
window, people
Come on
passing
in.
by.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of it now too is in each community. There's a lot of word of mouth.
Okay.
You know, in the churches where people gather, some of their social functions. There's word of mouth. You shouldn't, be concerned that
Right.
it doesn't
Nothing to be
hurt.
scared
And
about. Yeah.
right. So.
Good.
And
I
when
think-
somebody comes up to tell you, they're always encouraging family members. You've got to get up there. Come on, I'll go. It's nothing. There's nothing. And
Right.
we're not intimidating. And a lot of people with white coat syndrome, they don't have it with us. It's like coming up with family.
Nice blue sweatshirts or nice brown jackets. Yeah, that is
But,
like coming up
you
with
know,
family. Sure.
We don't act like doctors and strict office procedures and things like that, so they feel real comfortable coming up. And we don't ask them if they have a green card. We don't ask them anything. If they have insurance, if they're
We don't. There's no
local.
lengthy paperwork they have to fill out. It's just
Wow.
real simple information that we get.
That is amazing. Are there other Health Reach vans or anything like that in the county? Is there anything like that?
Not in the
Morris
county.
had something. They had something like that, but they were charging, I think, for that
At one time, and I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's still in existence.
That is tremendous.
No.
What a great.
Yeah, it's an awesome program.
That is unbelievable. As you said, not asking anyone. So if a viewer wants to find out more, if they want to find out about the schedule, and how do you get the word out about where y'all are going to be? How far in advance do you put the posters up at locations? Is it if they wanted to call the 347-8058 number, the Conway Medical Center Foundation's number, or to go online to the website, conwaymedicalcenter.com. That's probably good ways, but what's the best way to find out your schedule of where you're going to be? Is that just in y'all's heads, or do y'all plan that out?
They should probably call our office. No, we make our
Okay.
calendar out a month in advance.
Good, great.
And we distribute that throughout the departments in the hospital, and make it available to some of the key contact, like the front desk at the hospital.
Right,
And they can always
yeah.
call us. Our names on the website and everything. So.
That's great, Janie. How about a typical day? Let's say today's Wednesday, maybe last Tuesday, let's say, Tuesday the 8th. What would a day like that have been starting for both of y'all? Just give us a sense of the two of y'all, Tuesday the 8th.
Well, we come in fairly early. We usually try to get there, between 6 and 6:30.
To where the van is parked.
where the
To our
van is
office,
parked.
Okay,
to our office.
The
Right.
day before, we've kind of pre-assembled everything that we need for that day, and then we just do like a double check that morning. We do our controls for our machines that morning. Sometimes we actually have to get under the hood on a cold morning to,
Get the van
kinda
going.
give the van a little extra kick, because it is a diesel. But I mean, we can do that too.
Yeah. Wow. Listen to that. More than just nursing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Nursing a vehicle as well.
extension
I
of
love it.
nursing. So,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of get prepared for the day, and we go out. Liz can tell you about our stop last.
Tuesday.
Well,
yeah. Do you
yeah.
remember where you were?
We were at Bobby's
Bobby's.
Beauty out on Cates Bay Highway, and that's off
Right.
of 701 in Conway. So we'll get there. A lot of times there's patients already waiting on us by the time
Wow.
we get there. And we pull up, we try to get there before 7:30, probably about 7:15. We should try to get there. And once we set up, it doesn't take long at all, and then they just start coming up, and we keep records on everyone. So we pull out the record, and so we can do a continuation of what they had already done.
Right.
And we just take care of it that way. And it takes them 5 minutes at the most to get back, get their screening done, then come back up front.
Right.
They wait for the results. I give them a copy of the results, and then they're on the way. And we usually try to come back every 3 months.
Every 3 months to that same
To the same
location.
spot, yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
tremendous. So how many actual locations are there that the Health Reach van will travel to? Is it just that many? Maybe 60, 70, 80, or less?
What would you say? Maybe 50.
50.
Yeah,
We see over
right.
1,000 patients a year.
Oh, come on.
No,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
that's
Is
just
there-
with that. That's with our basic screenings.
Right.
That's not
Yeah.
with everything else.
Is there room for more? I mean, could you fit more people into the vans over the course of the year, or is it pretty dang crowded now? I mean, is
It gets
it
crowded in
over
some
the course of a
areas,
day?
yeah.
Let's say
Yeah.
Bobby's Beauty shop last Tuesday there off of
I'd say
701.
about 20, maybe about 20 there.
And so it would normally, if someone's coming for the first time, it would normally take about how long? Do they walk onto the van? Just give viewers a sense, since I don't think we brought any
would
pictures that's sitting out in front of the Grand Dunes here, the Marina Inn, but what does the van look like? I mean, how big is it?
We call
Can
Big
they-
Blue. Is it
Can it fit in
24
more than the
24
two? Okay,
feet.
24 feet, yeah. And it's blue?
Yeah, Big
Yeah.
Blue. Yeah,
Yeah,
blue
is
and
it this
white.
blue?
Yeah, it
It
is.
has our
That's
logo on it.
right, yeah.
You have, when you come in the door, you have a little waiting area and a registration.
into the door of the van.
Into
You
the
come
door
up,
of the
and
van.
it seats about 3 people,
Right.
and then the rest usually have to stand. I mean, it's a small area up front.
Right,
There's a space
sure.
for me to do registration, and then a small area in the back.
That's more private for the where the actual screening takes place.
Okay,
In the
sure.
back.
So there is a level of privacy there,
Right,
Right,
clearly,
right,
for the
right.
patient coming in.
But
And
then they
as-
also have to realize too, you're at a screening, so it's not very private. I try not to read out what the results are. I'll just point to it and say you want this either higher or lower.
Right.
And this way, you're still going to be in a room filled with people. So we try to keep it to
As
a point,
confidential as possible.
as we can get away
That's
with.
fantastic. The van's 11 years old. You all have been doing this together for 11
We're
years.
11 years old.
I
That's right.
gotta ask directly. I mean, just a little bit. Had you been thinking about nursing for a long time, Liz, or ever this opportunity to be with folks like that, or is this something?
No,
just,
I had worked in the emergency room at Conway Hospital after nursing school, and I had left and went to a doctor's office, and one of the ER physicians had called and said, they're starting this program. You need to come on over and apply for it and see what you
Right.
think about it. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, this has
Same-
really grown. It's
And
wonderful.
for you, Janie, is that something you've been in nursing for?
She's been
Yeah,
in nursing
for a long-
forever.
Oh no, listen to that. A little
She's much older.
sparring in the band.
For a
Yeah.
pretty long time I have. I started out in the system in progressive care and intensive care.
Right.
And then as I furthered my education, I went back and did more community education programs
Right.
like cardiac rehab, diabetic education, and even wellness. And so this kind of fit with some of the community education programs I'd been involved with before.
Great. Let's talk about some things that viewers could do. We got about 10 minutes, and obviously, again, for viewers that need to get off to work now or get family off to school, the 843-347-8058 number is the foundation number.
Right.
Did you say y'all have a number as well, so someone could call and find out a little bit about the schedule? What's that best number?
My number is 347-8068.
8068. So
That's-
if
and
they
that's the
dial
direct
58 or
line.
68, they will be able to find out
They'll find
about
us
the
somewhere.
Health Reach van. That's great.
Somewhere.
So they could call to get an idea of the schedule, but let's go over some, or they could visit ConwayMedicalCenter.com to learn more about the van and obviously about what prompted this 11 years ago to kick it off. But about what are some things that viewers could do if they can't get to the van, if they're immobile? And I know you'll even oftentimes make special stops or do some, is the Health Reach van also used for transporting some cancer patients? Not y'all.
No.
There is
No.
another service
I think
that
there
the
is
medical
another
center
service that does that. No,
provides.
that's
I'm sorry,
not us.
Jessica had mentioned another way to get out, to reach out to folks. But for the van itself, if someone can't get out to the van or can't get out to one of these great locations, what are some things that viewers could be doing to just take a little better care of themselves? Are there
Hey,
some
Janie.
things that they can do?
That's a tough.
Should they keep smoking?
No, obviously
Okay,
no.
how about that?
No.
No,
Watch the diet,
and we
exercise.
do some follow-up calls.
Sure.
We do some education over the phone as far as follow-up and how they're progressing and everything.
Right.
And even referral. I mean, if they're bedridden or at home and they can't get out, then they probably need to get in touch with the home health agency.
Okay.
I mean,
If their
Definitely
cholesterol
put the
is high,
cigarettes down.
okay,
Yeah.
put the cigarettes
You know.
down. What about cholesterol? Is that something that people need to be concerned about? And what is high, and what
And in our patient population, we see probably 50 to 60% that do have blood cholesterol elevations. So that is kind of the main problem we see
that's
as far as
right,
numbers.
right. Okay. And what are some things that viewers could do to? Is it really on a case-by-case basis, or are there
Pretty
things?
much.
I think
Yeah,
so. It
'cause-
really
So
is.
generally,
It
there's
really
not
is.
things
Because
that
we have to
viewers
look
could-
at all the risk factors too, because genetics
Good
has a
point, yeah.
big play in there. And sometimes even the most the
Athletic.
patients and athletic that's
Yeah.
done the most they could to try and control it will still have an elevation.
And that's history. Family
Right.
history plays
Right.
a big key in that. So it just looks at person by person.
Okay.
Right.
Again, for our viewers coming the first time potentially, and has the chance, if they were out there at Bobby's Beauty Shop off of 701 there outside of Conway last Tuesday, if they were coming for the first time, they'd get up in there. Let's say they got there, they were the first there at 7:15, and they're getting into the van for the first time. You're just going to just go through the steps. I know it's obviously
Well, when they
private,
come
person to
up, it
person,
is.
but what are the steps that you're going to go through with somebody?
Well, when they first come up, I'll ask them their name, get their address, their phone number, their birth date, their age. I ask them if they have a family doctor. I'll ask them if they've ever been diagnosed with high blood pressure, if they're taking medicine, if they exercise. I'll ask them if they have high cholesterol, triglycerides in the past, or on medication now. I'll ask them if they're smoking or chew tobacco.
Right.
I'll ask them if they have a history of diabetes, and if so, if they're taking anything for it. And then I'll ask them a family history, if anybody on their side of the family have any of these, so we can get a kind of an idea what's going on.
Right.
And that's all they got to do. Then they sign a consent form.
Right.
That gives us permission to prick their finger that morning and get their blood pressure. And then after they sign that, I send them back to Janie. So, and then
Right,
she takes
and then they
over.
come back, and if it's a new patient, we, of course, we want to try and, make them feel as
Calm
relaxed as
down,
possible,
relax,
so their blood pressure isn't, elevated because they're anxious. So
Sure,
I'll
good.
just kind of go over exactly how long they're going to be back there with me, what I'm going to do, how long it'll take, and then once we get through with the screening, I'll have their blood pressure results there. So I'll kind of go over that with them if they have a history of blood pressure, if they're taking medicine, if they need some more written information to take home. And with this, you kind of have to assess their knowledge level too.
Sure.
Some of the reading material we have, we try to do it on like a 5th grade level, so it's easy to understand, because medical terminology is even hard
It's
for.
foreign to
That's
lots of
awful.
folks. Surely
That's
here on
right.
Wednesday morning.
So-
7 a.m. is foreign to me, so
That's
thank
right.
you for keeping it simple. That's great, yeah.
And so once that person then goes back and awaits the rest of the results, and Liz will go over that as well.
We also look at if they have needs of, if they need a doctor, if they can't afford a doctor, if they need to go into the Friendship Clinic, or however we can
For
help
viewers who
them.
aren't familiar with the Friendship Clinic, when is that the Friendship House, the free medical clinic? So that is
On Highway 544.
okay,
Conway.
real easy again for folks, and they can call the 347-8058 number, or the main number, the 347, I think 7111, or again your number, the 8068, to learn more about that even.
That's
Which
right.
is great, which is very important. But what is that for viewers who aren't familiar?
They have a criteria for what
Right.
you have to meet, and they help you. There's doctors that volunteer there,
Great.
and they have a pharmacy there that can kind of get you in the system again and
Right.
get your medications. And we have a lot of people that can't afford medicine,
Oh, I
so
bet.
they just won't take it. Or I knew I had diabetes, or I knew I had high blood pressure, but I can't afford a doctor's visit, and I can't afford the gas to get to the pharmacy, or I can't afford just the medication because I don't have a drug card.
Right.
So they get you in there and they get you back on your feet and kind of feeling better. And
Well, the
Get you
great
that
thing
way.
for y'all is they can afford to go to Bobby's Beauty
They can
shop.
afford
or
to
they
go
can
to us. That's
what are-
right.
Yeah, what are some of the other locations that y'all, the viewers may be familiar with, or they've seen the van? Again, they were a little anxious about getting in a van with anyone, even two lovely ladies who were welcoming them in. I mean, what are some of the other locations that y'all may go on a regular basis? We want to talk about Backpack Buddies as
Right,
well,
right.
which is a great program. We've only got
Right.
about 5 minutes, but what
Okay.
are some of the other locations
Well,
that?
we go all over Horry County, and as you know, it's a pretty large county.
It
So
is, right.
we go into the Aner, Gallivan's Ferry area. We
Right.
go to Dog Bluff, Handy Mart there.
Fisherman's headquarters.
Fisherman's headquarters.
Fisherman's Headquarters, yeah.
That's out on 701. Everybody
Right.
knows Fisherman's
Yeah.
Headquarters.
Wow.
Ocean Fish Market in Conway. Mount Olive A&E in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, great.
Right. We go down to Bucksport Senior Center, and we try to service the seniors there, or anybody from that Bucksport community
Right.
that wants to come in. That's down 701,
Great.
Bayboro.
Bayboro.
So there is not much of a downtime. When y'all stop, you guys are going strong the entire time. And really
Right.
staying active that
Yeah.
entire time.
And we're always looking for new locations too, and
Right,
we
good.
do get that from some of our call-ins. We always you could come out to this area, so we
Right.
try to we're always looking for
So
new.
if a viewer may know that you haven't been near their home or
Right.
their location, 843-347-8068.
Right.
Give you a call and say, please come out. And you may not be able to come there the next day or the next week or even the next month, but just knowing that that's a location, you may want to try to fit it into your schedule, or
Exactly.
let them know of another location close to them they may not have known about.
Exactly.
That's great. That's great. Backpack Buddies is something that Jessica was talking about on Monday. I'm sure Phil Clayton will talk about it on Friday when he's with us, and Judy, I'm sure wanted to talk about it yesterday. But what is Backpack Buddies?
Okay, that started 2006.
2005.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah.
In February 2005.
And what's that for?
That is for children that are in elementary school, grades K through 5, that have food insecurities on the weekends.
That have what?
Food insecurities. They may not
Food
have enough.
insecurities,
They may
okay,
not have enough
right.
food to eat on the weekend. And what we found were there was a lot of children that were going to school because they could get their breakfast and their lunch, and they didn't want to go home because there was no dinner. And they may have eaten through the week at school, but come the weekend, there's no food there.
Oh, Lord.
So these are the children that have the low test scores. These are the problem children. These are the ones that act out in class. So we decided to go, and I had read about this in the paper that they were doing it somewhere, Wisconsin or somewhere, I don't
Right,
remember
right.
where. And we had went ahead and asked about it, and when Mr. Clayton had heard about it and heard that it was for children, he said, well, that's a no-brainer. You know, we can
Right.
do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
right
great.
now we've got 175 children just in one school we do. So that's 350 snacks for that school on the weekends that they get to take home. And we help another group, it's an after-school group in Conway, they have 47 children. And there's a tremendous need. I swear, every school would love to start this program. We don't have the funding for it.
Golly,
That's a major
Liz.
need.
I had no idea.
It's awful.
How is that something that a lot of folks just wouldn't have heard about? I mean, I can't
I
imagine.
just think that people don't realize it. You know, if it's not something you see every day, we see this stuff because that's where we're out in the medically underserved areas. So if you're not in that area and you see Myrtle Beach, and you don't think that in that school alone, there's kids that they've got nothing in the refrigerator. You know, we try to do cereal bars because they may not have milk, or you know, one of the
This
teachers.
is real.
Yeah,
Liz. This is
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not just talking. This is
No,
real.
no, it's disgusting.
There are kids throughout the county who do
It's
not
sad.
have
It's
dinner.
awful. We had a teacher write a letter. It said one of the children talked about eating dog food, and she said, "Well, why do you eat dog?" My daughter used to eat it. You have to, when she was crawling, you have to get the dog food out of her mouth when she was crawling.
Right.
And so she said, "Well, why are you eating dog food?" He said, "Well, that's all there is." So that's it. That's what these. And then we want them to sit in school, and we want them to pass their PAC test, and we want them to pay attention, and we don't want them stealing the other kids' food, and they got to sit still, and they can't do it. They cannot do it. They're starving. So Mr. Clayton was gracious, and I thank him so much for letting us start this program. So right now we're only capable of doing one school in this after-school program, but we're really trying to get funding for that so we can continue it
If a
on.
viewer obviously wanted to find a way to support the Backpack Buddies or had a little extra change, what are some of the dollars that are needed to support that? I mean, how does the Backpack Buddies program actually? Do you fill a backpack with food
The
for the week?
school does for us.
Okay.
Janie and I we order from Sam's, and we also get food from the Low Country Food Bank here in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
For every $1 that's donated, we can get $20 worth of food for them.
Wow.
At the Low Country Food Bank. That's a
For every $1 that's
tremendous
donated,
source. Yeah,
you
they
can
are
get
wonderful.
$20 of food. How does that?
Which, by the way, they need a box truck. The boys down there need a box truck with
Yeah,
a deliver
let's
food.
talk to AVX.
If you know anybody.
Wow, a box truck.
Yeah, they need a box truck. But
on
we
that.
get it from there, and we store it in our office, and we end up on Thursdays. Janie and I will get the food from Sam's loaded up, and we get the food from our office, and we take it over to one of the schools that we deal with. And then they have a after-school group that comes in, or a leadership group that comes in, and they fill all the bags for the kids. And then the bags are delivered to each classroom. The teacher has a list of who needs it,
Right.
and then they put it in their backpacks on Friday.
That
And they
is-
said
so
it's
they try to
great.
keep it quiet, obviously
yeah,
as
yeah,
confidential as
yeah,
possible. So
yeah.
that
Right.
Yeah.
wow.
And
that
they said the
is-
scores, they used to test on Fridays, and none of these kids would show up. And now all of a sudden, all these kids are showing up and taking tests because they want to take their food home.
That is
it's ridiculous,
unbelievable.
isn't it?
I mean, just amazing to think about both the significance of that and the impact that that'll have on scholastics. That's
Tremendous,
amazing. That's almost a
tremendous.
tearjerker. I'm sure for a lot of folks who aren't aware of that, that's occurring in the county, and probably not just in O'Ree. There's 46
No,
counties
it's-
in the state,
Please.
probably in every single county, and in North Carolina, a lot of our viewers up there as well. Wow. That must be really gratifying for
It
y'all.
is.
Any real special stories? We got a couple of minutes that stick out over the 11-year period. I guess probably every patient at some level is
It
a
is,
special
in a
story,
way.
because they haven't
Pretty
been to the
much,
hospital,
yeah.
or do you ever find just folks that have either never visited a hospital, never been there, never been to see a doctor, that are getting in for the first time?
Yeah, we've had one that I remember, he's from the Aner area, and
Right.
was so sick all the time. He couldn't work for months and months.
Oh.
So we found out he was diabetic, and we got him in with somebody, and by the 6th month that he was, the second stop, so it would have been 6 months, he came
Right.
up, had a job, his medication was doing great, his diabetes was under control, his high
Wow.
blood pressure was under control, and he thought, God, I just didn't realize And
it
that's
had
what
gone on
happens.
for years for that. Yeah, he'd been
especially
destined.
men. You know, men,
Right.
they don't like to.
Men don't like to
Men
get
don't
checked
like
out.
to get
Yeah,
checked out.
no,
I
they
think that
don't.
they're- I think there's
We're
a problem.
invincible. Yeah, we're not
And they're
invincible.
invincible.
No,
Oh
I hate
my
to tell
God.
you. I
Yeah.
hate to tell you.
Yeah.
That's why it's the weaker sex.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yep.
Well, clearly, there's got to be a lot of amazing stories, and
Right.
And for y'all, the most exciting aspect. Can you encapsulate what's the greatest feeling for you?
I mean, I personally, this has been one of the most gratifying positions I've ever had, just because of the people out there. They really appreciate what you do. They're they're so proud of themselves when they can accomplish, getting that blood sugar down and
Right.
things like that. And we just I mean, it takes just a little pat on the back, a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of information, and they're on the way.
That's great. Janie, Liz, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being with us this
Thank
morning.
you.
I'm sorry we've run out of time.
It's all right. Thanks.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Janie Smith and Liz Bright of the Health Reach Band coming up next. You can be a part of this. I mean, you can actually get up on that Health Reach van. You can do it. If you haven't been to a doctor recently, haven't made that, you heard Liz say it. She's not asking for your driver's license, your green card, anything else. They just want to know some basic facts about you so that they can diagnose you and really get you checked out and taken care of. This is a tremendous opportunity. Take the time to learn more about the Health Reach van and when it'll be located close to where you are, 843-347-8068. 8068. Of course, you can go online to ConwayMedicalCenter.com. Just giving that extra little pat on the back to get you on your way to get. And what about that Backpack Buddies program? If you didn't sit here and just crack a tear listening to that amazing need, the tremendous need, a terrible need in the county, take the time to learn more about how you can be involved in supporting the Backpack Buddies program and the Health Reach van by calling 843-347-8068. Liz Bright, Janie Smith, every day making a difference, sun up to sundown.